Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that's louder than ever, where everyone is rushing to be seen and heard, there's a powerful truth that often gets overlooked. You don't need to announce every move you make. Focus on yourself and stay silent. Silent. Silence isn't weakness. It's power under control. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's self-respect. When you pour your energy into your growth, your goals and your peace, you become unstoppable. Not because the world is watching, but because you are watching. Silence is often misunderstood in today's world. We live in a time where constant noise surrounds us. Social media, opinions, debates, and the unrelenting pressure to speak up, show up, and prove ourselves at every turn. But true strength isn't always found in volume. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to say nothing at all. Silence, when chosen deliberately, becomes a sign of control. It shows that you are not easily shaken, not reactive to every challenge or criticism thrown your way. It reflects a maturity that says, I don't need to respond to everything. My focus is elsewhere. When you choose silence, you're making a conscious decision to conserve your energy for what truly matters. You are telling the world that your time and attention are precious and not everything deserves a piece of them. There's a quiet kind of confidence in a person who doesn't feel the need to broadcast their plans, defend their actions, or chase validation through noise. These people are often the ones making real moves behind the scenes. While others are shouting about what they might do, the silent ones are already doing it. They're not motivated by applause. They're not distracted by opinions. Their silence is a shield, and their progress is the proof. Silence can also be a form of wisdom. It gives you the space to observe before you act, to think before you speak, and to process emotions before they take control of your actions. In heated moments, silence is a weapon that can protect your peace and stop a bad situation from escalating. It shows restraint, and restraint is power. When you master the art of silence, people start to notice, not because you're loud, but because your presence becomes more intentional. Every word you do say carries more weight because it's not surrounded by constant noise. Every action you take feels more deliberate because it isn't clouded by empty talk. The silent, focused individual becomes a mystery, and mystery creates respect. So, while the world continues to chase attention and approval, remember that silence isn't absence. It's presence in its purest form. It's a signal to the world that you are in control of your emotions, your mind, and your direction. Focus is one of the most valuable resources we have, and yet it's also one of the most overlooked. In a world full of distractions, from the buzz of notifications to the noise of other people's opinions, maintaining focus is a radical act. It's not just about working hard. It's about choosing where your attention goes, and more importantly, where it doesn't. When you focus on yourself, you're reclaiming control over your life. You're no longer living according to someone else's expectations, trends, or timelines. You stop asking, what do they think of me? And instead start asking, what do I think of myself? That shift in perspective is powerful. It frees you from the mental cage of comparison and competition. Suddenly, your path becomes clearer because you're walking it for you, not to keep up with someone else. Focus gives you clarity. When your attention is scattered, so is your energy. You find yourself starting things but not finishing them, listening to too many voices and forgetting your own. But when you narrow your attention to what truly matters, your energy becomes laser sharp. You begin to notice your own progress, appreciate your small wins, and grow more confident in your direction, even if no one else sees it yet. And focusing on yourself doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means being intentional about what you let into your mind and heart. You protect your peace by not engaging in drama. You protect your goals by not oversharing them. You protect your time by not giving it to people who don't value it. The more you focus inward, the stronger you become. Not because you're ignoring the world, but because you're building your foundation before letting the world in. Focus is also a form of love, self-love. It's the decision to say, I matter enough to give myself my full attention. It's the act of investing in your own well-being, your own dreams, and your own healing. When you give yourself that level of care, you begin to glow from within. You stop chasing people because you're too busy building. You stop needing permission because you're creating your own path. You stop comparing your life to others because you're finally living it on your own terms. In the silence of your focused mind, you'll find ideas, creativity, strength and vision. And all of those things come not from trying to be everything to everyone, but from being everything you need for yourself. Discipline over distraction is a mindset that separates those who only dream from those who actually do. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Buzzing phones, endless scrolling, constant chatter, and the pressure to keep up with what everyone else is doing. It's easy to get caught in the trap of multitasking, thinking you're being productive when in reality, your energy is being drained by things that don't serve your growth. Choosing discipline means you're making a conscious effort to resist those distractions. It means setting boundaries with yourself, not because you're punishing yourself, but because you respect your goals too much to let anything interfere. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving forward, even when motivation fades. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going through the boredom, through the doubt, and through the setbacks. When you practice discipline, you're training your mind to focus on what matters most. You wake up earlier, not because it's easy, but because your purpose matters more than a few extra minutes of sleep. You turn down invitations, not because you're antisocial, but because your priorities are calling. You say no to comfort and yes to growth again and again until it becomes second nature. Discipline doesn't mean you don't have fun or relax. It means you know when to work and when to play. It's about creating a structure that allows you to thrive, rather than drifting through life without intention. When you start living with discipline, you begin to take control of your time. And when you take control of your time, you take control of your future. Distractions will always exist. There will always be noise, temptations and moments when it feels easier to give in than to stay on track. But discipline gives you the ability to pause and ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goals or further away? It shifts your decisions from reactive to intentional. It transforms time wasting into time building. The truth is, distractions often feel good in the moment. They give you quick pleasure and instant satisfaction. But discipline builds a kind of satisfaction that lasts. The deep, grounded fulfillment that comes from knowing you've shown up for yourself consistently. It teaches you patience, strengthens your willpower and sharpens your focus. And in the long run, it's not talent, luck or intelligence that makes the biggest difference. It's discipline, the ability to stay committed to what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has passed. Growth is personal, deeply, quietly, powerfully personal. In a society obsessed with visibility and validation, we often forget that some of the most important transformations happen in silence, far away from the spotlight. True growth doesn't require an audience. It doesn't need applause. It simply needs your commitment to becoming a better version of yourself, even if no one else notices right away. Every step you take in your personal journey is unique to you. Your pain, your past, your lessons, they shape your path in a way that no one else can fully understand. That's why comparing your growth to someone else's is not only unfair, it's irrelevant. You don't know the full story of their struggle and they don't know yours. The only meaningful comparison is between who you were yesterday and who you are becoming today. Growth isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's choosing not to react, not to argue, not to engage. Sometimes it's setting boundaries with people who don't respect your peace, or letting go of relationships that no longer serve your journey. And sometimes growth is just showing up for yourself in small, quiet ways. Journaling your thoughts, taking care of your health, practicing patience, learning a new skill. People may not see the nights you spend working on yourself. They won't see the battles you fight in your mind, the discipline it takes to walk away from bad habits, or the courage it takes to believe in yourself when no one else does. But just because your growth isn't posted online or celebrated by others doesn't make it any less real. real. In fact, that's often where the most powerful change happens. In the dark, in the quiet, when it's just you and the decision to keep going. Growth also takes time, and there's no universal timeline for how fast or how far you should evolve. Some lessons take years to learn. Some wounds take time to heal, and that's okay. Rushing your process to match someone else's pace only leads to frustration. Trusting your pace, honoring your journey, and focusing on your internal evolution, that's what brings real and lasting change. As you grow, you may notice that your environment begins to shift. The people, the habits, the thoughts that once felt comfortable may no longer align with who you're becoming. That's not a sign of something going wrong, it's a sign of growth. Change can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Staying in places that no longer reflect your values just to keep others happy will only hold you back. So you continue to grow quietly. You continue to evolve for yourself, not for recognition. Because in the end, it's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better for you, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That's the kind of growth that can't be measured by likes, comments, or praise. It's measured by how deeply you know yourself, how much you've healed, and how far you've come, even when no one was watching. Let results speak. A concept so simple, yet so powerful. In an age where everyone feels the need to constantly announce what they're doing, what they're planning, and how great they are, choosing to stay silent and let your actions do the talking is both rare and refreshing. It's a sign of confidence that doesn't need validation and discipline that doesn't crave attention. Talking about your goals, your hustle, your grind, it might feel productive, but often it's a form of self-distraction. The energy that goes into explaining yourself, defending your vision, or seeking applause could be better spent doing the actual work. People get addicted to talking about their dreams rather than building them. But if you're serious about your journey, you know that talk means nothing without the action to back it up. When you let your results speak, you stop needing to convince others of your worth. You don't need to tell them you're working hard. They'll see it when your life starts to change. You don't need to brag about your progress. Your presence, your growth, and your accomplishments will speak volumes on their own. Quiet progress is powerful because it builds momentum without interference. No outside noise, no opinions to slow you down. Just focus. There's also a certain strength in being underestimated. When you don't broadcast every move, people may overlook you, and that's a gift. While others are busy putting on a show, you're quietly building something real. And by the time they realize what you've done, you'll already be ahead. That's the beauty of letting results speak. It's not about shocking the world. It's about surprising them with consistency, growth, and undeniable success. Letting your work speak for you means developing a deep trust in your process. It means choosing patience over performance. Because real results take time. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to show people it's growing. You water it, nurture it, protect it, and one day it blooms. Your progress is the same. It doesn't need to be visible every second. It just needs to be real. This mindset also frees you from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. When you rely on results to speak, you shift from external motivation to internal validation. You begin to work because it matters to you, not because you're trying to impress anyone. You build discipline because you want a better life, not because you want better likes. This inner drive is stronger, more sustainable, and much more fulfilling. Even in difficult moments when you're doubted, criticized, or overlooked, you don't need to defend your dreams. You just keep showing up. Keep doing the work, keep staying committed. And eventually, the results will speak for themselves, not just in what you achieve, but in who you become through the process. The world will notice. But by then you'll be too focused to care. Protecting your energy is one of the most vital, yet often ignored, forms of self-care and personal strength. Your energy, your mental, emotional, and spiritual power is what fuels your ability to grow, create, connect, and lead a purposeful life. When you allow it to be drained by negativity, distractions, and unnecessary drama, you compromise your peace and weaken your focus. But when you guard it with intention, everything around you begins to shift. Protecting your energy means learning to say no, not with guilt, but with clarity. Not everyone deserves access to your mind or your time. Not every situation requires your reaction. You start to realize that your attention is valuable, and not every request, conversation, or event deserves a piece of it. You stop over explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds. You walk away from arguments that only exist to trigger you. You distance yourself from people who drain more than they give. There's a calm power in choosing your battles, in deciding that your peace is more important than being right, loud, or involved in every discussion. When you stop responding to every provocation, you stop giving away your strength. Not everything is worthy of your words or your energy. Silence in these moments becomes a boundary, a quiet, firm declaration that says, I choose peace over pettiness. Energy protection also means being mindful of what you consume. What you listen to, watch, read, and scroll through, all of it has an effect on your mindset. If you're constantly feeding your mind chaos, comparison, or fear, it's only a matter of time before it begins to show in your thoughts and actions. But when you intentionally surround yourself with peace, inspiration, and discipline, you reinforce the type of energy you want to carry and reflect. It's also about being aware of the people in your life. Some relationships come with support, motivation, and understanding. Others come with jealousy, passive aggression, or emotional manipulation. As you grow, you start to sense these patterns faster. And as painful as it might be, sometimes protecting your energy means stepping away, even from people you care about, if they are not respecting your boundaries or your growth. It's not about hate, it's about self-respect. Protecting your energy doesn't make you cold or distant. It makes you conscious. It means recognizing when you're being pulled in too many directions and having the strength to pull yourself back. It means being rooted in who you are so the chaos of the world doesn't shake you. It's the awareness that you can't pour into others if you're constantly running on empty. You preserve your energy so you can give it to the things that actually matter. Your purpose, your healing, your creativity, your peace. And when you begin to protect your energy consistently, something incredible happens. You stop craving validation, you stop chasing closure, you stop trying to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You become more grounded, more focused, and more powerful. Not because you become hard, but because you've learned the value of your energy and you're no longer willing to give it away so easily.